Hello, greetings mga ka-spacers natin out there. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. This is your ka-spacer and space commander, Professor Jun Cajigal. And right now mga ka-spacers, you are viewing on screen our waxing gibbous moon at about 89 to 90% illumination. And today is January 14, 2022. Alright, and waxing gibbous, so that means that this is between first quarter and full moon. And again po mga ka-spacers, you will notice that our moon is oblong in shape or egg shape. So papunta na po tayo sa full moon, and for your information mga ka-spacers, our full moon is this coming Tuesday, January 18, 2022, and that is the first full moon for the year 2022. Ayan po. So sana clear skies po this coming Tuesday para makapag-conduct po tayo ng online telescope viewing ulit. Okay. So ito po ngayon is our waxing gibbous moon at about 89 to 90% illumination. Alright, so siguro bago po tayo magpatuloy sa ating online telescope viewing and yung pagbibigay po natin ng mga facts about the moon, gusto ko muna pong i-shout out ang mga sumusunod. Alright, so shout out kay Mr. David Rio Ferio from World Vision Philippines. Yan po. So nakipag-collaborate na po kami sa kanila I think 2 years ago. And napakaganda po yung aming collaboration. Ang World Vision Philippines po ay tumutulong sa mga kabataan. Alright, and shout out kay Mr. David Rio Ferio from World Vision Philippines. And the Medan Society of Young Astronomers. So we are looking forward for another collaboration with the World Vision Philippines. And also shout out din kay Mr. Alexander Kabatingan Monte. And nag-conduct po ako ng online telescope viewing din kahapon ng madaling araw. And Mr. Alexander Monte was watching. Yan po. So marami pong salamat Mr. Alexander Kabatingan Monte. Ayan. Okay. So thank you sir. And also sila Jolo Garcia. And isa sa mga estudyante ko talagang magaling to sa puyatan, si Miss Judea Cabanyero. Ayan. So sana gising ka pa iya. Pero matulog ka na maaga. Alright, and Marcelia Layos, Nasser Salem, ayan po. So shoutout po sa inyong lahat. And also, yung mga ka-spacers natin out there, shoutout sa inyong lahat. Okay, mga ka-spacers natin from Luzon, mga ka-spacers natin from Visayas and Mindanao. Alright, so sana gising pa ho kayo and samahan niyo po ako sa ating online telescope viewing of the waxing gibbous moon at about 89 to 90% illumination. And in a few minutes mga ka-spacers, we will be magnifying the image of the moon, and again we will be featuring the Copernicus crater and the Tycho crater. Alright, and I am using here an 80mm Vixen refracting telescope with a 15mm Plausil eyepiece. Alright, so waxing gibbous ito mga ka-spacers. So pag sinabi nating waxing gibbous, the waxing gibbous phase is an intermediate phase of the moon mga ka-spacers that starts right after the first quarter, when the illumination is 50%. Now, the name gibbous, mga ka-spacers, comes from the moon shape, which is less than a full moon and more extensive than the first quarter. So, ang shape ng moon po is semicircle. Yan. The moon is semicircular in shape. Waxing, ibig lang sabihin nito that the moon is getting bigger. So kagaya po ng sinabi ko kanina, we are now halfway between first quarter and full moon. And ang full moon po natin mga ka-spacers is this coming Tuesday, January 18, 2022. Yan, so aantabayanan po natin yan. And yung full moon na yan is the first full moon for the year 2022. Okay, sinasabi po nila na yun ay yung wolf moon. Alright. So, ayan po yung ating explanation po ng waxing gibbous moon. Alright. So, ano naman yung albedo? Kasi kung mapapansin po ninyo, very clear po yung skies ngayon actually and napakaliwanag po ng buwan. But did you know mga ka-spacers that the moon has a very low albedo? Now, ano ibig sabihin ng albedo? Albedo is the reflection of light ng isang heavenly body. Right? And the moon's albedo is quite low. No? 0.10 lang compared to Earth. Ang albedo po ng Earth is 0.39. Ang Venus, yung pinaka-highest albedo kasi talagang nag-reflect po siya ng light from the sun kaya napakaliwanag ng Venus. Pero ang moon maliwanag pero mababa yung albedo. No? The explanation for that is because malapit po yung buwan sa atin. No? The moon looks bright in our sky not because it is highly reflective but rather because it is so close to us. Right? The albedo of the moon, like the Earth, varies depending on the terrain. Right? So kung mapapansin niyo sa ating lunar image, yung albedo ng lunar highlands, yung mga bright areas na yan ay medyo mataas. No? Compared to the Marias, yung mga dark patches na yan, mababa po talaga yung albedo niyan. Pero yung mga lunar highlands, yan medyo mataas po yung albedo. Between 12 to 16% for the highlands. And 5 to 10% sa mga mares or yung mga lunar plains. So the albedo of the moon varies depending on the terrain. Okay po, so ayan po yung albedo ng buwan. And again, why is it that the moon has a very low albedo? Though yung pag tinignan natin po siya sa kalawakan ay maliwanag po dahil malapit po siya sa atin. Pero ang buwan ay mababa yung albedo. The reason for that, it is because of the bedrock of the moon's surface is covered with regolith. Okay, yan po, tandaan nyo po yan mga ka-spacers, regolith. So that's a layer of loose soil and rocks produced by meteorite impacts over the long history of the moon. And mga ka-spacers, etong regolith na ito absorbs most of the light which falls on it. And that explains mga ka-spacers the moon's low albedo. Okay, kasi yun po yung regolith na yan, yung regolith. Regolith absorbs most of the light which falls on it. Alright. Okay, mga ka-spacers. So, yan. Sana marami ko po kayong natutunan about the moon. Right, and lagi ko pong sinasabi to sa aking mga online telescope viewings that the moon has no atmosphere, no? Walang atmosphere, and since the moon has no atmosphere, there is no sound transmission on the moon. So ang buwan it's a silent world mga ka-spacers. Ayan, because there is no sound transmission on the moon. And nakikita niyo po sa ating lunar image ngayong gabi that the surface of the moon is scarred by millions of impact craters. And these impact craters, they are caused by meteors, asteroids, and comets. Right? And since wala pong atmosphere ang buwan natin, there is no atmosphere on the moon to help protect it from bombardments. Kaya walang pumipigil po, walang pipigil sa mga asteroids na yan. So dire-diretso po sila sa lunar surface creating those magnificent craters. And dalawa po sa mga malalaking crater sa buwan ay yung Copernicus crater and yung Tycho crater. Ayan na po mga ka-spacers. So here is now the magnified image of the moon. Okay, so ayan po, makikita niyo po yung mga dark areas na yan. Those are lunar plains. Okay, and yung mga white areas na yan on the moon, those are lunar highlands and impact craters. Ayan po, so imagine yourselves inside the Apollo spacecraft. No? Ang ganda po talaga ng buwan. And malinaw po yung ating camera. Ayan, so yung mga puti-puti na yan, mga butig-butig na puti, those are craters. And yung puti na yan, those are lunar highlands. Yung mga itim na nakikita nyo sa ating lunar image, yan po yung mga patag lunar plains yan. Ang tawag po dyan ay Marias or Mare. Alright, yan. So babalikan natin yan mamaya. So imagine yourselves on board the Apollo spacecraft. Para tayong nasa orbit around the moon. So isn't that fascinating, no, mga ka-spacers? Alright, yan. Nakikita nyo yung itim na yan, yung dark patch na yan, yung dark area na yan. Yan, yung tinatawag po dyan ay Maria. No, Maria is the Latin for seas. Kasi yung mga unang astronomers, yung mga sinaunang astronomers and early sailors, they thought of them as bodies of water. Yan, kaya pinangalan po yan na Maria. And yung isang famous lunar plain dyan is the Sea of Tranquility, kung saan naglanding yung Apollo 11. Ayan po, ito yung terminator. Ayan, that's the imaginary line separating the lighted part from the unlit part of the moon. And maraming craters. And ito po, ginigitna ko po yung Tycho crater. Ayan po. So the Tycho crater is a prominent lunar impact crater located in the southern lunar highlands. Ito po yung southern lunar highlands, no? And ayan po yung Tycho crater named after the Danish astronomer Tycho Brahe. Alright. And alam nyo ba mga ka-spacers na yung Tycho crater, it has a depth of 4.8 kilometers. Alright. Okay. And ayan po, ginigitna ko na po yung Copernicus crater. Ayan, so the Copernicus crater is a lunar impact crater located in the eastern Oceanus Procellarum. Yan po, ganda po, no? And this crater was named after Nicholas Copernicus. And did you know mga ka-spacers na yung diameter ng crater na yan is 93 kilometers. And it has a depth of 3.8. Yung Tycho crater kanina, mga 84 kilometers yung diameter. Pero ito po, 93. No? Siguro mas malaki pa to kaysa sa Las Piñas. Napakaganda. And you will notice dun sa rim, may mga radiating white lines na dun sa rim ng crater. So those white lines, they are called rays. Mga rays po yan ng crater. Alright, so those rays are caused by debris thrown out by the initial impact of the asteroid or meteoroid. Okay, yan. Very evident po yan sa Copernicus crater. Pero itong Tycho crater, hindi po masyado. Pag full moon po, yan, kitang-kita po yung mga rays ng Tycho crater pag full moon. Alright, so I am pointing the telescope at the southern lunar highlands. Okay, so ayan po ang ating Tycho crater. So again, yung Tycho crater, it has a diameter of 85 kilometers and a depth of 4.8 kilometers. Okay, and para po tayong nakasakay sa Apollo 11, no? Spacecraft. Para tayong nasa orbit around the moon. Alright, and yung mga dark patches na yan, those are lunar plains or Marias. Alright mga ka-spacers, so there you have it. That's our magnified image the waxing gibbous moon and about 89 to 90% illumination. So today is January 14, 2022. And mga ka-spacers, kung meron po kayong mga katanungan about our lunar image tonight, or kung meron po kayong mga reactions or comments, just type in your questions or your comments or your reactions in our comment section below. And we would like to hear from you, mga ka-spacers. So kung gusto nyo mag-react or even gusto nyo magpa-shoutout, just type in your reactions, your comments, yung mga shoutouts ninyo in our comment section below. And sa mga nakatutok po ngayon, marami pong salamat for sticking around with me at sinasamahan nyo po ako ngayong gabi sa ating online telescope viewing. Alright po, so yan po yung ating waxing gibbous moon tonight, January 14, 2022, and we have clear skies po ngayon. Yan, so sana manatili yan hanggang mag full moon tayo this coming Tuesday. Alright, and again, ginagawa po namin ito because again, hindi pa tayo pwedeng mag face-to-face public telescope viewing. Hanggang ngayon po tumataas na po yung kaso ng COVID. As of January 14, naka 37,000 new cases na po tayo. Alright, so siguro manatili muna tayo sa ating mga tahanan. And we will bring the telescope to you, mga ka-spacers. Yan, para ma-appreciate nyo naman yung ganda ng kalawakan yan. Yung buwan, yung mga planeta, and yung araw. Yan. Recently po, fini-feature ko po yung sun natin kasi medyo madaming sunspots. No? So, in this past few days, may mga increasing sunspot activity ang ating araw. Alright, so in a few minutes po ulit, we will magnify the image of our waxing gibbous moon. So bago po tayo magpatuloy, and again, shout out po sa mga sumusunod. Again kay Sir David Rioferio from World Vision Philippines. So again, marami pong salamat. And we are looking forward for another collaboration with World Vision Philippines. Ayan, so thank you po. And sana gising pa si Mr. Alexander Cabatingan Monte. Ayan po. And sa mga sumusunod, marami pong salamat sa inyong pagtangkilik. Sila Jolo Garcia, ang aking estudyante na si Judea Cabanyero. Yan, huwag ka na masyado magpuyat, iha. Si Marcelia Layos, Nasser Salem, and si Miss Angeline Kilang. Yan, ang aking presidente sa BSYA. Yan, shout out sa inyo. And sa mga ka-spacers natin out there na nakatutok po ngayon kahit na medyo late na po ng gabi, no? From Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Yan, marami pong salamat sa inyong walang sawang pagsubaybay sa ating online telescope viewing. Alright, and just stick around po with me. Samahan niyo po ako. Talagang ganito po yung aking late live stream. Ayan. Okay, so ito po yung ating online telescope viewing of the waxing gibbous moon at about 89 to 90% illumination. Alright, so again, waxing po ito. Ang ibig lang sabihin niya that the moon is getting bigger. Yan, medyo lumalaki na po yung appearance ng buwan. So, gibbous, we are now between first quarter and full moon. Ang full moon po ay this coming Tuesday. Okay, so ang waxing gibbous is an intermediate phase of the moon that starts right after the first quarter. So more than 50% illuminated na po yung buwan but less than 100%. And the name gibbous comes from the moon shape, which is less than a full moon but more extensive than the first quarter. So ang buwan po natin is semicircular in shape. And waxing, meaning that the moon is getting bigger. Okay, so sana po na-appreciate niyo po itong ganda ng ating waxing gibbous moon kasi napakalinaw po ng ating camera. Alright, And ito meron tayong still picture nasa taas po ng aking camera. Ayan po, so that makikita nyo po yung details ng iba kasi pag nakaprocess po yung photo. So that you could see more details of the lunar surface. Okay, and habang hinihintay po natin yung magnified image of the moon, ipopromote ko lang muna po yung mga activities ng BSYA kasi po palapit na po ang pista ng Santo Niño. And alam niyo naman po ang tradition ng San Beda talagang sineselebrate po yung pista ng Santo Niño. Even though we are in an online setup, yan, celebrate pa rin namin yan. And BSYA, meron kaming upcoming activity called Rock the Stars. Yan, ito ay Battle of the Bands po ito, featuring the members of the Bedan Musicians Club ng San Beda. Alright, so yan, bago natin ituloy yung Rock the Stars, ito po ulit yung ating magnified image of our waxing gibbous moon. Alright, so just imagine yourselves mga ka-spacers that you are inside the Apollo spacecraft in orbit around the moon. Ayan po, and yung mga itim na yan, those are lunar planes po yan. Yan ay mga patag ng buwan. Alright, and later I will be pointing at the Copernicus crater and the Tycho crater. Okay. Ayan po. So yung mga dark patches na yan, those are called Marias. Right? They are large, roughly circular dark areas caused by the flow of lava, no, when the moon was still volcanic. And the early sailors, early astronomers, they thought of them as bodies of water. Kaya tawag po nila dyan ay Marias or seas. But we know that those dark areas, yung mga patag na yan, they are made of basaltic lava. Okay. Ayan po yung mga itim na yan. No? Yung mga hindi itim, medyo yung mga bright areas ng buwan, those are lunar highlands po. Yeah, and impact craters. And speaking of craters, yan po makikita niyo mga malalaking craters sa ating lunar image. And ito po yung I am now moving my telescope and papunta po tayo sa Tycho crater. Ayan, so isang damakmak na craters po na. Yan, ito po. Ginigitna ko na po yung Tycho crater. Alright, so isn't that fascinating mga ka-spacers, no? So that's the Tycho crater. Now the Tycho crater is a prominent lunar impact crater located in the southern lunar highlands. So itong telescope natin ay nakatutok sa southern lunar highlands. And yung diameter niyan is 85 kilometers po mga ka-spacers, yung Tycho crater na yan. Okay, and I am now moving the telescope towards yan, ito po yung Copernicus crater. Yan, napakalaking crater po niyan. The Copernicus crater, mga ka-spacers, is a lunar impact crater located in the eastern Oceanus Procellarum. And the crater was named after Nicholas Copernicus. And did you know mga ka-spacers, yung diameter niyan is 93 kilometers and it has a depth of 3.8 kilometers. Ayan po yung Copernicus crater. So isn't that fascinating, no? Alright. Yan, malaking crater yan. Malulula po kayo dyan pag nasa loob kayo ng Copernicus crater. Alright. So if you're fascinated by what you are seeing right now, just type in your reactions or your comments mga ka-spacers in our comment section below. So ayan po, that's the Copernicus crater. And yung mga itim-itim na yan na nakikita nyo, again, those are lunar plains. So, tawag dyan po ay Marias. Maria is the Latin word for seas. And ayan po, I am pointing the telescope again at the Tycho crater, named after the Danish astronomer Tycho Brahe or Tycho Brahe. And yung crater na yan na nakikita nyo mga ka-spacers, that's 85 kilometers across. So malaki din yan. and it has a depth of 4.8 kilometers. Okay, so yan, nakakalula po yan pag nasa loob kayo ng Tycho crater. Actually, mas malalim ho ito kaysa sa Copernicus, pero yung Copernicus malapad, no? Okay, so ayan po yung Tycho crater. And again, I am moving the telescope sa northern part ng buwan. Alright, yan, makikita nyo mga isang damakmak na craters. And ito po ulit yung Copernicus crater. And so if you have any questions or comments or reactions about our lunar image tonight, just feel free to type in your comments or your reactions in our comment section below, mga ka-spacers. Ayan, so shout out po sa inyong lahat na nakatutok po ngayong gabing ito from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, mga ka-spacers. Okay, ayan, so I am moving the telescope towards the Copernicus crater. Yan, para mamangha po kayo sa ganda at laki ng Copernicus crater. Alright, so medyo nag-a-adjust po yung camera ko kaya ganyan. Okay, so yan, in a few minutes makikita ulit natin yung Copernicus crater. Ayan, so talagang malalaki yung mga craters ng buwan, no, mga ka-spacers. So what do you think? Ayan, so medyo nag-a-adjust po yung aking camera. Alright. Okay, so ito po yung Terminator. Ayan, so yan po yung imaginary line separating the unlit part from the lighted part of the moon. And ito po ulit, tinuhukop ulit sa Tycho crater. Yan. Pero hindi pa prominent yung rays niya unlike yung Copernicus crater. Alright, so that's the Tycho crater. And again, I am moving the telescope papuntang north. Yan, para makita nyo po yung kabuuan ng lunar landscape. So napakaganda po talaga. No, nung bata ako talagang manghang-mangha ako talaga sa buwan dahil gusto kong pumunta talaga sa buwan. Pinangarap ko talaga maging astronaut noon. Alright, pero wala, hindi natuloy. Ayan po, ito po yung Copernicus crater ulit. Ayan, kitang-kita po yung mga puti-puti dun sa rim. Yan po yung rays ng Copernicus crater. Alright, so yung mga rays na yan, they are caused by debris thrown out by the initial impact of the asteroid or yung comet na created that crater. Okay, so medyo maliwanag na po yung loob niyan. Alright, so hindi nakagaya po ng dati na talagang magnificent po siya, pero pag full moon talagang maliwanag na yan, hindi na masyadong maganda. Pero hanggat ganito pa yung itsura niyan, namnamin na po natin yung ganda ng Copernicus crater na napakalaki. Ang Copernicus crater is again 93 kilometers in diameter and it has a depth of about 3.8 kilometers, mga ka-spacers. Alright, so there you have it. No? So if you are fascinated by what you are seeing now, itong Copernicus crater, just type your comments down below po, mga ka-spacers. Alright, and that's the Copernicus crater. Ito rin po yung Tycho crater. So yan, hindi ako nagsasawa dyan. Paulit-ulit ko na lang yan. Either yung Copernicus or yung Tycho crater. Ito yung dalawang malalaking craters talaga ng buwan na nakakamangha talaga. Alright, and kahit paulit-ulit po yan hindi po ako nagsasawa. Yan, parang every time that I look at the moon, laging may bago. Ayan, okay. So ito po yung southern lunar highlands. Yan, kaya maraming craters. Isang damakmak na craters po yan sa southern lunar highlands. Okay, so ayan po yung ating magnified image of the moon. Ayan po, medyo nag-a-adjust po yung aking camera. Alright. Yan. So kung may mga katanungan kayo about nakikita nyo ngayon sa ating magnified image, just type in your questions. Or kung may mga reactions kayo, just type in your reactions or your comments in our comment section below. So ayan po, that's our magnified image of the moon tonight. Alright, so marami pong salamat kung kayo ay namangha. If you have appreciated tong ating magnified image of the moon, just type in your reactions or your comments below. Okay, and siguro bago po tayo magtapos, no? Again, just gusto ko lang pong i-promote yung activities ng BSYA sa darating po na pista ng Santo Niño. So, we will be celebrating the Pista ng Santo Niño on January 28 and 29. So, on January 28, that's a Friday, we will be having another online telescope viewing. Alright, and sa 29 ng January, we will be having the so-called Rock the Stars. Ito po ay parang Battle of the Bands. Pero kakaiba po ito mga ka-spacers. Ngayon, anong kinalaman ng BSYA sa Battle of the Bands? So, in between performances, we will be having some astro trivia. Yan, para habang nag-enjoy tayo sa mga music ng mga participants, mga banded dyan, eh natututo tayo ng astronomiya. So, in between performances, we will be having some astro trivia. Tinawag po siyang Rock the Stars. So, this is in collaboration with the Vedan Society of Young Astronomers, the Vedan Musicians, and the Vedan Harmony. Yan po yung handog namin sa inyo in celebration ng Pista ng Santo Niño sa San Beda University. And kahit po dumadami po yung COVID cases po natin, and na-extend po yung ating health break, still tuloy pa rin po, no? Naging tradition na rin kasi namin yan sa BSYA and sa Vedan Musicians and Vedan Harmony. Okay po, so antabayanan po ninyo yan po. Suportahan niyo po yung aming mga upcoming activities sa Pista ng Santo Niño sa San Beda. And also mga ka-spacers, I would like also to promote my new Facebook page, The Science Guy TV Ka-Spacers Channel. Ayan, so marami po kayong matututunan sa The Science Guy TV Ka-Spacers Channel. No, topics sa siyensya about biology, physics, chemistry, astronomy, you name it mga ka-spacers. So please visit, supportahan niyo po yung aking bagong YouTube, Facebook page, no? The Science Guy TV Ka-Spacers Channel. And speaking of YouTube mga ka-spacers, meron din po akong YouTube channel. Now just visit and subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Science Guy Prof Jun Cajigal. And marami po kayong matututunan, hindi po kayo magsisisi. No, just subscribe to my channel, The Science Guy Prof Jun Cajigal on YouTube. Yan, parang natutuyan po ko ng lalamunan. Inom muna ho tayo ng Coke mga ka-spacers. That hits the spot. Okay. Ayan po, no? So, suportahan niyo po mga ka-spacers, and again, pakiusap lang po at iregalo niyo na po sa akin ito. So please like and share itong ating online telescope viewing para makarating po sa maraming tao, lalong-lalo na yung mga estudyante. Kasi lahat po tayo nasa bahay ngayon, and hindi naman tayo pwedeng mahirap na pong lumabas, no? So, ginagawa po namin ito para nasa bahay kayo at the comforts of your own homes ay ma-appreciate po ninyo ang ganda ng buwan, yung araw, and other heavenly bodies. So, please like and share itong ating online telescope viewing so that we could reach more people, especially the students out there, para ma-inspire naman po natin sila to love the sciences, especially astronomy. Alright po mga ka-spacers, so pakiusap lang po. And siguro dito na po tayo magtatapos, and suportahan niyo po, no, ang mga activities ng Vedan Society of Young Astronomers. Alright, so gabi na po. Gabing-gabi na. And pampagising lang muna ho tayo sa Coke. Yan. Paborito ko po talaga yung Coke. Ay, salamat. Thank you, Lord. Yan, gising na gising. So sa mga gising na gising ngayon at buhay na buhay, marami pong salamat sa inyong pagtutok sa ating online telescope viewing. Alright, so this is your Kaspacer and Space Commander, Professor Jun Cajigal, saying, live long and prosper. Alright po, marami pong salamat and always stay safe po. Huwag muna tayong masyadong magpagala-gala. Just kung hindi naman importante, stay at home. And talagang wala pa ho tayo sa peak ng COVID surge. So please stay at home. And ginagawa po natin to para hindi na kayo lumabas ng bahay. At pinapakita po namin itong mga images ng buwan o mga planeta, yung araw sa inyo at the comforts of your own homes. Okay po, marami pong salamat. And please like and share itong ating online telescope viewing. So long for now. See you in our next online telescope viewing. Marami pong salamat sa mga gising pa ho ngayon. Thank you po. Good night.